Hey guys, I'm Jax, and this is my spoiler-free review for the new film, Uproar. Now, I got the privilege of seeing an advanced mystery movie screening of this film. Now, whilst I have to be honest, for the first maybe 5-10 minutes, I was mildly disappointed that I wasn't getting an advanced secret screening of the new Hunger Games prequel or the 93rd MCU film or some other big blockbuster that I could see weeks in advance. But once I got over that, I suddenly became aware that I was watching a very special film, a very intimate and personal and amazing film. A film that I usually don't go to see in the cinemas. Now that we have so many movies on streaming, this is the type of film that I often wait to watch at home. But my God, do I highly, absolutely recommend to see this in the cinema. This film is funny, it's quirky, it's weird, and it is shockingly emotional. It is powerful, and it is really interesting and thought-provoking and quite challenging at times. This film feels like budget Taika Waititi. But don't get me wrong, I don't mean that as a bad thing. In fact, that's a compliment. I think it's a really high praise for these two directors, which I've never heard of before. When I say home brand Taika Waititi, that's a compliment. Because Taika Waititi, except for his most recent film, Thor, let's not talk about that. He is spectacular. He is able to give us quirky, offbeat humor and really likable and weird characters, and it kind of lulls you into a false sense of security, and then suddenly it just smashes you with really powerful, emotional moments and scenes, and the films are really affecting and really sincere and beautiful, and it has this really good tonal balance of the weird, quirky comedy and the really powerful, deep, emotional moments. And this film is that. It has everything that I associate and love about Taika Waititi. All the offbeat characters, the weird and quirky humor, but it's very emotional and powerful. It's also set in New Zealand, and we've got all of those New Zealand characters that you love. Rhys Darby, the boy from Hunt for the Wilder People. Probably other examples of New Zealand people in this movie, but we don't have one thing that I don't like when I associate with Taika Waititi. And that is Taika Waititi, because I still haven't really gotten over what he did to Thor in Thor 4 Love and Thunder. I just don't like it, and I don't like him, and I know that's childish and immature, and he's made so many other good films, and he even made a good Thor film, which I should just focus on, not focus on the bad one, but I can't, because I'm broken inside, and I just hate that movie so very much. So when I think about watching a Taika Waititi film, and everything that comes with a Taika Waititi film, I don't want one that has Taika Waititi involved. So, when I say that this is budget Taika Waititi, I mean that in the best way, because it's everything you could possibly want from a Taika Waititi film, but Taika Waititi's not involved. It's so good. I really need to get over Thor 4. I just can't. Honestly, it probably says more about me than it does about these directors and this creative team that I think this feels like a Taika Waititi-esque project, because I guess when I think about New Zealand, I think about Hobbits and then Taika Waititi, and that's it? So that's on me. That's on me, not the directors. They did an amazing job, and I'm not trying to say they didn't, and I'm not trying to say they're derivative. I'm just saying my scope of New Zealand is 95% Hobbits, which I love Hobbits, and then 5% Taika Waititi, who I mostly love, except for Thor 4. I've got to stop talking about Thor 4. This is meant to be a review for Uproar. This film is a coming-of-age story that we've seen before, but on a different, unique backdrop. This film is set in New Zealand. We follow a 17-year-old boy, and he goes on a mildly generic and familiar story that we've seen before, in that he wants to do acting, but his school and parents and all that want him to do rugby. A classic situation that you've seen a million times before. But then the film kind of has a tonal shift in this moment, and then the film kind of shifts its tone from being a fun comedy with a bit of drama to a full-on intense drama that is really kind of centered around the ideas and themes of racism, identity, and really kind of forcing its main character to get his ass off the fence and stop fence sitting and take a stand and take like a stance and to stand for something, for himself, for his family, for his community, and it is awesome. The main character is the boy from Hunt for the Wilder People, and he is exceptional in this film. I've not loved him in Deadpool 2 and Godzilla vs. Kong. I've not really liked him outside of Hunt for the Wilder People, but he is exceptional in this movie. He is so powerful, he is so kind of raw and open, and it is a very complex and interesting performance. And he has one scene, which is like an audition moment, that is shockingly amazing. It is so good. And if you wanted to know what the boy from Taika Waititi's Boy looked like as an adult, well, this film's got you covered. He looks older, which, you know, of course he does. And so despite the fact that the boy from Boy is now an adult and he's smoldering and handsome and he's got beautiful long hair and he gives a very quiet and restrained and beautiful performance and has maybe the best little monologue in the whole movie. Sorry, no, second best little monologue. There's another monologue. There's lots of good little bits in this movie. Actually, you know what? Might be the third best bit. It's a good movie. There's lots of good scenes, but he is very good. But I couldn't help but when I looked at his face, just be reminded of the fact that I am also aging and that we are all slowly creeping towards death. And I just had like a little bit of a existential crisis. And so also in this film is Rhys Darby. And Rhys Darby is always very fun. It's quite a restrained performance from him as well. It's not as kind of outlandish and quirky and wacky as it usually is. Like, it kind of starts off that way, but then it kind of becomes quite sad and intense at other times. It's a very good performance from him. Definitely not his funniest, but I think it works for what this film is doing with that character. The mum of the family is also very good and gets a very powerful and very sad scene towards the end of the film. I unfortunately don't know her from any Taika Waititi films, so I don't know how to describe her. Overall, this is a fantastic movie and I highly recommend you check it out in cinemas. Support local New Zealand films! Because I don't really, I didn't pay for this intentionally. They tricked me. I mean, I'm glad they tricked me, but they did trick me because I didn't know what the movie was going to be. But I'm glad I saw it and I would support it. But maybe I wouldn't. I'd never even heard of this film. Go see this film. Support New Zealand films so that I can feel like I'm supporting them, because I don't really, because as I said, 95% Hobbits, 5% Taika Waititi, and I still don't like him right now. I'm coming back around though. Michael Fassbender, Soccer, looks good.